On this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast, we are brought to you by Hunter's Helper, getting you through that hunt one sip at a time.
Smite dysfunction? There's a cream for that.
Blood Bowl phone. Our coverage map is all red.
And Octocobra. If you thought The Boys was gory, wait till Octocobra gets a hold of you. Let's do this. Welcome to Season 6, Episode 15 of Devil's Trap Podcast. I'm Diana.
I'm Liz. What the hell was that? Are you just trying to fuck me up? Like, I almost spit, like, the wine out of my mouth. No. I don't think you've ever once opened it that way.
It felt right. I just went with it.
Oh, yes. All right. Oh, we're off to a good start.
Yeah.
Welcome to, well, I think there's a reason because we're very excited to talk about this episode because this is not only episode 15, it is, well, French mistake. I will keep the French noises to a minimum. No promises.
So,
Yeah. So, hey, what's up? What's going on?
Oh man. I just went to I haven't had a ton going. I say I've been super busy, but the things I've been going on that are fun to talk about are we went and had a new sandwich at Thunderbird Station, which doesn't sound exciting, but it was really good.
Wait,
and it's very unique.
But is Thunderbird Station different than Thunderbird Subs?
Absolutely different. It is owned by the same people that own Double Wide and Single Wide in Dallas, and it is.
So, are they allowed to call it Thunder? But that seems,
I think it's
rip-offy, don't you think? I mean,
I thought it was Thunder something else. Subs.
Oh, is it Thundercloud?
That's what I think it is.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, Thunderbird's just a mythical Native American symbol. Whatever. Now I want to see it. What kind of sandwich was it?
It was pimento cheese.
Okay.
Green apple and bacon.
I'm not mad at that.
And it was called the Gremlin, and it was delicious.
Oh,
anyways,
it was a gremlin. It was a gremlin
absence.
It was green. It was a gremlin after I got fed. Someone gave it water after midnight.
Yeah. So did that, and then went to a car show this weekend, hung out, and then caught one kind of up and coming country artist that's from San Antonio, named Nikki Diamonds, and I think that's about it. That's for me right now.
It's a lot.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I keep busy,
just doing the thing, living my rock and roll lifestyle, going to car show. I don't do shit, I just went to a car show, went to a band, and saw all this cool stuff.
I also watched an extensive amount of old seasons of Married at First Sight, so we'll just leave it at that as far as the rest of my social life goes. But you've had some fun times. What have you got?
I just got back from Baltimore, and it was great, as Baltimore always is. Although, it didn't really. I think I spent I like to go around Baltimore to see different things, but we just had a very intense weekend with my con, and which I think was really great. One of my friends who runs this with me, when she said to her coworkers that she was throwing, had to go to a con that she's throwing, they just assumed that she meant crime. That it was that we were doing a
She's
con.
gonna go pull a con.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, do we have a name for this? Is it the Patsy Somersault or something? But I do like to think about it that way. That is lovely. But so a bunch of my friends and I got together in Baltimore, and we talked about stuff. But it was in the most amazing venue called Illusions, and the place is run, I think owned. I'm not sure. I was never quite clear on that, but the main magician is this guy named Spencer, and he was on one of Diana's favorite shows, America Got Talent, and he was fascinating. He was this adorable, tiny little tattooed elf, and I just loved him. I highly recommend going to a show there. Their bartender, Nicole, was amazing, kept us well inebriated, but would not too inebriated because we were talking about important things, but not really. Whatever. It was the drinks were great, and the venue is just full of like magic history. So
That's cool.
I gave a talk on, as some of you may remember from whichever episode Like a Virgin was. When we talked about dragons, I brought up the Snallygaster, and what I did was a deep dive into the full name of the Snallygaster in many papers was the Bovalopus snallygaster. So I did a deep dive into the word Bovalopus and where that came from. TLDR, there was a water ox, water buffalo, a Filipino water buffalo that was captured, brought to America, and apparently many versions of that was captured and brought. I don't know because there was many circuses that had it, but there was a water buffalo that was running around called a Bovalopus, and so I got to talk about my weird nerdy shit on a stage that was full of like magic and circus history. So it was my jam.
That
That
doesn't sound up your alley at all.
It does not sound. I was like, they had like on like their bar. There was like they had two of these little like I don't even know what you call them. These little spinning things. I sent Diana a video of one of them. I don't know what you would call them, but these little like it was like a carousel. These two miniature carousels of devil. One was devils and one was witches. And so when the wind like picks up, they just start spinning. And you just have these little spinning devils and these little spinning witches. It was so good. I was like, oh. So just.
I thought the ones with the candles, because I think also some of those, the heat from the candle makes it.
Oh, so yeah, there was a candle on it, so that makes sense. Science.
That's what it is.
Woo.
Yeah.
So anyways, it was a fantastic place, and you know, I love Baltimore. You're kind of sketchy, but lovely. You know how I feel about my shitty places. I just love your trashiness. So. That really is it's a rave review on my part, and so.
That's cool.
Other things like just before like we get started, just some general supernatural family stuff. So it is official of the two shows that on the CW that are two of the shows that got renewed on CW. Walker Texas Ranger has been renewed for its 4th season.
Oh wow!
So that is really good. Walker Independence was canceled.
Oh,
that is sad news. Winchesters still no. Nobody knows. They haven't been said canceled. They haven't said renewed. I kind of think they may just end up going to Amazon with,
with that teaser.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with how happy they were. Like, I think I have a strong feeling that
it's probably being negotiated. That's
it's happening. Like we'll take it off. Well, also and it'd be like sort of like them getting picked up for Netflix, right? But just being picked up for Amazon.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed that's what's happened. We don't. It's not the end yet for our Winchesters, and I still haven't watched that season. And I'm now I've seen some spoilers. And I'm like, fuck, I have to watch because I was trying to hide because I wanted to have it like a podcast where I watched that for the first time and Diana's seen it, but I don't know if I can hold out for that long.
But you said I can't watch it because there's too many things that'll give away, so I can't.
I know you can't watch it. So, anyways, yep. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe someday I'm just gonna be really bored and watch it, probably. But all's given. So this episode, though, these Winchesters, this world of the Winchesters. Oh boy, right? So this was season 6, episode 15, called "The French Mistake." So that refers to a scene in Blazing Saddles. And if anybody has seen that movie, you have, right? That is one you've seen. Okay,
correct.
At the
absolutely
end, at the end, yes. Where they basically the Old West, the fight breaks into the hall, and they all start fighting in the cafeteria of the film studio, right? So they break the fourth wall. The song that there is being performed is called "The French Mistake."
Oh, okay.
So that's one.
I love a Blazing Saddles reference.
Yeah, that's a good one. And the other possible one is that it could refer to a a straight man having a gay sexual encounter, which he later regrets. The French Mistake. So, I don't know. You like that dick probably. But anyhow, this first aired February 25th, 2011, and was directed by Charles Beeson and written by Ben Eklund. So that's our background on this. And I did text, I was like waiting for Diana to watch this, and because I knew. And also, I had a friend of mine who like she's finally started. Lori, mahalo to you in Hawaii. I don't know, maybe it's wherever you are right now, but mahalo. Um, she was like, I can't wait until you talk about this episode because she's a little further behind. She's a little ahead of our show. So she's like, this is like one of the most amazing episodes she's ever seen. So I knew from like a newbie perspective, I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be
super fun.
surprise.
Yeah. Well, before we get too far, I mean, I don't want to get, but basically, I mean, they've teased it doing stuff like this that's a little bit meta, but this is definitely over the top and it's fun. So, that being said,
we start off with a zoom in on a computer laptop and a blog called Strange Happenings in something. I couldn't see what it was. Yeah. But there's an article that says Mauled Man, mystery continues, and there's a very gross picture on it.
Entrails.
Something.
Potentially.
Blood stuff.
Something. So, yeah, Dean's doing research and trying to pour booze, but his bottle empty. And there's a big old thunderstorm, and they are at Bobby's. And Sam comes in and ends up Bobby is out on a quote-unquote supply run, which means the liquor store, apparently. But,
yeah, and Sam's just like in this, and they're like, yeah, we're out of Hunter's Helper, and when I'm pretty sure there is, I just didn't have time to look, there must be someone who's taken this brand, right?
If so not, it's disappointing.
If not, family business, hello, like, open a distillery next to you called Hunter's Helper, like, that business writes itself.
Right? Well, and then, but who shows up but our old friend Balthazar, who in my notes is called Balti.
Oh, Balti. So, and he is once again in like his V-neck t-shirt with his hairy chest and like his suit jacket on over it. And normally that's not my style, but I ain't gonna lie. Not mad at it.
It works. It works for him.
No.
Working for him. And he is making a lot of references to The Godfather, which is another film Diana has not seen. But I was able to.
My notes say they're in The Godfather and in the role of Michael Corleone, and then the Archangel Raphael. Diana has never seen The Godfather, I assume.
Well, to be clear here, I mean, it's a really long movie. From what I heard, but I'm also not completely culturally unaware of it. I'm not like, oh,
it's a beautiful,
Michael
wonderful
Corleone.
movie. Like, yes,
I've never heard of it. Like, I don't obviously I know that name. It's like I'm aware of that.
But it's
I'm
just like, oh my god, like or at least just read the novel or something. It's just the story
that
is
sounds
like
way worse. Sounds boring.
They're both really great. They're both really good.
Okay.
However, one thing I also want to say. So while he's doing this and he's making like his spell, like. Where'd the bowl come from? Like, he just all of a sudden has this bowl.
He has a bowl.
Did he bring the bowl with him? Like,
maybe so.
Like, was it just like under his jacket? He was like, oh, the one thing I need is this bowl. Or like, was the bowl in the fireplace? I was just.
That's where you went. I was more like, okay, salt jet tracks. Having a bone of a lesser saint, okay, maybe.
Well, but it's not just. It wasn't just salt, though. It was very specific salt. It was Dead Sea brine salt.
But still, that even like tracks because they have a lot of salt, so they've got to have varieties of salt. But the one that I was kind of like that I thought was the funniest, but also like what the fuck was the jar of blood of lamb in the fridge.
I mean, so that was there, right? So, but I mean, maybe he just made a rack of lamb and he had that left over. Do you get that from the butcher? Do you cut your own lamb? Like, what's going on with that?
I don't know. Also, he had a big old jar of blood of lamb. That's all I know.
But he also IDs just this random piece of bone as not only as a vertebrae, which I guess I can see that, right? Like, okay, yes, spinal bone, I see this. But he's just like that of a lesser saint. Like, what? Like, does it like have a saintly glow? Like, how do you know? And like, why do you know it's not an upper saint? Like, how do you know it's a saint? How do you know it's not just like?
I did not see a label. Like, it was not.
Yeah, it didn't say like it could have been like Drew the goat fuckers. Like, we don't know.
You fuck one goat anyway.
You can fuck one goat.
All right. So yeah. So Balti's running around putting this spell together, and he is very happy with Bobby's pantry, though, and having all these supplies. But basically, he's like, "Look, Raphael is going to be after all of us. Castiel's had to go underground, and we've got to hit out on everyone that's helped him. So Raphael's going to use all of us to draw Castiel out."
Seems like a fair plan, right? Also, I have a gaping chest wound.
Oh yeah, he opens his jacket and he's bleeding a lot. And Sam's super sus about all this. He's like, Balti, you sus. I don't trust this shit. I don't buy it. Whatever. But Balthazar's just drawing sigils on the glass with this mixture of the lamb's blood that he made.
Shit, just like la, 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 la.
He just keeps going. Like he has like no pause. He just keeps doing his thing and talking as he goes. But
to be fair, like okay, look, with like my ADHD brain, sometimes if I have a thought, like I can't, like you can't stop me, right? I know I'm gonna lose that thought. Like if you put a second thought in here, like it's just gonna proceed, and that one's just gonna go away. So like maybe he's just like, I have to, like I've got these words of the spell. Again, like if you say 5, like I'm gonna forget something.
Yeah, but then he gives them a key, and it looks like a locker key at a roller rink, is what I first thought.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is this? Okay.
On a big keychain.
Yep.
But, and he says, y'all need to run with this. And then something invisible throws Balthazar across the room. It's not good. And we get a very, very, very serious angel marching into the room in his suit.
He's very large. He's very lurchy.
Yeah. And this is Virgil, we believe?
He's also very mafia hitman-like, right? So we're kind of going with the Godfather reference. He just looks like a dick.
He does.
But also that also means to me he looks very nice, right? Like he looks like that, like he's a character who's like so mean, and you just know, like I would just be like, oh, like I'm just gonna do a bedtime.
But he's got a heart of gold.
He does.
Like one of those. No.
Virgil's got
he's
a heart of gold.
He's just a big old teddy bear.
He's just a big old teddy bear underneath that. I just know you are, sir. So bless his little heart.
Balthazar is like, y'all gotta run, and does an angel fling of the brothers through the window. Yeah, but instead of landing outside in the middle of a storm, they land on a stunt mat indoors. Huh. Weird. Real weird. Right?
Right. And then we hear cut.
And applause. They're filming the Supernatural TV show.
Yep. And somebody is telling Jared and Jensen that they did a great job, but they're actually saying Jared and Jensen.
Yeah. And obviously our Winchester brothers are very confused. So this is where it gets confusing writing about it. So I stick with referring to them as our Winchester brothers because that's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Well, I mean, I always call them the boys anyways because I'm a true Supernatural fan. But
sorry.
No shade on you're still not there yet, but you'll get there. More Crowley, you'll get to the boys eventually. Trust me, you'll get there. But so if they were actually like the characters Sam and Dean, I just called them Sam and Dean, right? So if we're talking about like when I talk about them in real life, like so this is like someone is telling them, so someone's telling Sam and Dean, but they're really telling Jared. Okay. This is the only time that I called them Jared and Jensen because it was funny.
For sure. All right, so our brothers are very confused. We've got what appears to be a director and a stunt coordinator and other guys that work on the set talking about the scene that was just shot and about how it's going to take like 95 minutes to reset that window if they want to reshoot it. So or we can just cut the part where they sit on the Impala, that's how he says it, and talk about their feelings, which is hilarious. But
or you could do a freeze frame,
and the director does not want to get the hate mail if they cut that. So that was funny too. Anyways, and Sam's looking around and realizes that the window they just busted through is made out of this really rubbery substance instead of glass.
Yeah. Also, though, like on the free when they're talking about this is where we start getting the first of the season 6 reference, which I just love. Like, it's one of my favorite things about this episode is how much is like poke fun of it, like being season 6 and them not giving
That is,
fucks
yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. So they're being called. Jared and Jensen and are very confused about this, but they get pulled away, separated. Dean gets pulled to the makeup, and he is not thrilled, especially when he realizes he's already wearing makeup and it's being removed. And he says, "Oh crap, I'm a painted whore."
He is. He is a painted whore.
Nice.
And Jared Sam is getting interviewed by Trish. And she wants to know
Yes.
what's next for Sam Winchester in season 6.
But
And
be
if
sure
you
to
can include the question
in
in your answer.
Yeah. So they meet back up. Dean is pissed about having makeup on, and Sam has figured out that their life is the plot of a TV show. And Dean is they're just flabbergasted by this. Like, why would anybody want to watch our lives? Well, according to the interviewer, not many people do. So,
And actually, I think their ratings were fine in season 6. But I'm pretty sure I was watching the show live at this point.
okay, that's hilarious. And I like that when they reference Jared Padalecki, Dean goes, "What? Now you're Polish?"
Hooray! Which
Yay!
also, as a fellow Polak, you're like, anytime like we get called out, we're just like, you recognize Polish people, like, because you didn't make fun of us that much. All right, so
yeah, just a little
just a little bit.
All right,
so we go outside and we see baby.
Baby, yay! Something's the same, but this guy's throwing like this muddy slop on it, and Dean is not happy until he realizes there's an entire row of babies in various states of repair or disrepair or damage. Yeah, it is pretty bad.
And I don't understand like why he's sick to his stomach, right? Because I'd be like, look at all these parts.
No, because baby is baby, and that means you don't know which one is the real one, and it's all fake.
One of them is a real one, and the other ones are part bitches.
Donor cars.
They're donor cars. That's what
yeah, I guess. But his next line is, "I want to go home. I feel like this whole place is bad touching me."
A lot of bad touch. So they figure out. He's like, okay, what do we gotta do? All right, let's try and reach my boyfriend. Let's try and call Cass.
So they try. Dean prays, and nothing happens. But then they see him across the set. So
behold, there's Cass.
There he is. So they run up, and Cass starts saying like, "Yeah, we've got to keep you out of Virgil's reach. So we're going to cast you into an alternate reality." And they're talking,
which really is the plot, right? So like, it's like it's not really like they're really explaining like what's going to happen. So if you listen, you're like, oh, this explains like all this shit that just happened. You're in an alternate reality. It's similar to yours, except there's one thing that makes it very different.
Mm-hmm. And we're not even to that yet, but we're almost there, right?
Oh, I thought we were there. Okay, whatever. I got ahead of you.
But Cass wants the key, and
this is not. I was not ahead of you because Cass says that, and then Sam gives him the key.
Okay. Right. Yeah. No, you're right. So we've got the key, and they're like, yeah, it opens the room where Balthazar stored every weapon that he stole from heaven. Okay, well, that seems like a great thing for Castiel to have if he's in this war. All right.
Yeah, that's great.
But, yeah. So, but they're like, Sam and Dean are still kind of surprised that Balthazar gave them this key and asks Castiel what's up with this whole, like, TV thing. And Castiel is confused and pulls out his script to ask if they put out new pages for the script.
It's not Cass! It's an actor!
Nope. Yes,
and his name is
Misha.
What a horrible terrible. I forgot. No, they just made fun of it. Whatever. I'm just like, whatever. They made fun of his name. Because I think Misha's a cute name anyways, but we look.
Yeah. So Sam snatches the key back as they walk away. I like that Sam asks if this is a cosmic joke, and Dean's response is, "If so, it's stupid, and we don't get it."
Oh man, can I just also be like, yeah, the past like few, yeah, this cosmic joke is stupid, and I don't get it.
So we've got them strolling around set, very distraught. But guess what they find? Oh, who has a fancy trailer? Jensen has a fancy trailer. So they're going to go hang out in a fancy trailer on set with its own remote control helicopter and ginormous fish tank, which is very impractical, as they notice.
And during this, Misha is also so happy that he got punked that he tweets, "Hola, Misha amigos, J squared got me good." Remember that. That may be important for later.
So they're all excited, though. They've got, a laptop. So they're going to try to figure out what's going on. And really, they realize that they're like superstars. They're on magazine covers doing Blue Steel. Surprise, Jensen's from Texas. What? And he was on a soap opera. Uh-oh. Let me get a nice clip of it. It was pretty entertaining.
It was very entertaining. But Dean has an idea.
Right. They're like, wait, well, since we can't reach Castiel, maybe we can reverse Balthazar's spell. So let's find these ingredients and make this happen. Okay. So they run back on set to go find ingredients where everything is fake.
It's all a prop. Everything is a prop.
Which makes sense. It's a TV show, guys. But it's a rubber vertebrae, spring-loaded knives, and Dean is having way too much fun with that spring-loaded knife. But to be fair, they're really fun.
Yeah, no,
I'm just sitting there like stabbing myself for you all the time with it. It's been so much fun. Yeah.
Which is why you're not allowed those.
Right. So, and the director is watching this and he's like, at least they're talking to each other. Which I think is an interesting comment.
Yeah. So that happens. And so they decide, okay, we're gonna leave this set and we're gonna take off in Baby. Baby doesn't sound so good.
Baby's a prop. She barely drives. This is not the real Baby. It is very sad. And they get stopped by one of the prop kids, I guess.
And this poor PA is just like, what the fuck is happening? Please stop. I'm going to lose my job. I can't explain that my actor stole the car that one thing I'm responsible for.
But guess what they haven't said? They got a driver in an Escalade. What?
Cruising in my Cadillac, Escalade chicken.
With Cliff driving them around. And they are... they realize that they are, first off, everybody's surprised they're talking, but also they're in Vancouver. And Dean is pissed.
Fucking Canada, right?
But so they're going to go to Jared's to work on their acting.
We're going to Jared's house.
And it's fancy. It's a nice house. And I think it's hilarious when they're walking in here and they're just like enthralled and confused by the fact that there's a tanning bed and just how nice the house is. And there's this fancy little bar set up. But I'm noticing in the background some beautiful but large pop art of Ruby. What? Could it be? Could it be not Ruby, but actually supposed to be a Genevieve?
We haven't learned her name yet, but here comes Ruby in a little black dress, and they are together, and the dress is perfect, and I want to know where it is, because that's a perfect little black dress. It's a very good one. And at first I was just is she just like, oh my god, she's so short, and she is, but it's just like, also they had her sitting down. I'm like, why would you ever direct her sitting down next to Jared and Jensen?
Yeah, it's weird. But so they also have an alpaca in their backyard. That's what we also learn. But anyways, because it's a very green animal. Anyway, so we have Genevieve here now. It's Ruby, aka later we find out she goes by Jen. Sorry, I was going by the real world. I figured it out. Sorry. But
so smart.
And she's got to go to the International Otter Charity Adoption Dinner.
Yeah, sometimes you have to go help international otters be adopted.
I want to go to an otter.
I will adopt all the otters. Honestly, if you just went to a place and were like, "Here's a picture of some otters swimming. Give me money," I'd be like, "Okay." And they're like, "If you give me more money, I'll let you play with an otter." Like, all the money. Just like, yeah, take my, throwing things and just pumping the mic and just shit because I'm very excited about the otters. Okay.
So she leaves, and our brothers decide that they need to do some research. So they're in Jared's fancy office with some
in front of a photo of him riding a horse, looking very serious.
Yes, very serious. It's pretty funny. But they're talking about how to get these ingredients, and they're like, "Well, it'll take about a week. We do this round trip down to Mexico to steal this thing, and blah 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 blah." And Sam's like, "Or we could buy it." Because we've got credit cards, and apparently in this world we're rich.
And he pulls up Jared Padalecki's black card.
He does. Yeah. And purchases the bone that they need, and is going to have it delivered to the airport the next morning, skipping customs for personal pickup. Oh,
well, that's so lovely.
Nice.
So nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So Dean takes a nap.
And Sam's going to walk around the house drinking a beer, which is great because he was just drinking liquor in the other room. So now he's done with that liquor, and now he's drinking beer as he's wandering through his house.
I mean, you're in an alternate reality and shit's fucked, but apparently you're rich there. So I mean,
yes, I would be getting loaded too. But
just observing, yeah. And Ruby gets back, and aka Jen. So he starts to ask about disasters that may have happened in the last year, like earthquakes and tsunamis. And she's like, "Yeah, I remember those from last season of your TV show."
What?
Oh, so this didn't happen in real life for them. Ooh. But then she leads him to bed, so it's fine.
So consent here.
Well, I mean, he is that other, but it depends. Is there another version of him there?
Up. Like the other, where are the other versions of them?
That's a good question. Did they become them?
Have they become them? I don't know. And now they're becoming. I'm just kidding. Anyways, all right. So we don't know what happens. They could have just gone to sleep.
Sure.
Okay, but they also show off a very large ring on her finger too as she goes upstairs.
And the next morning, we're at the airport, and Cliff kind of wants to know, but he kind of doesn't.
All he goes is "We're not doing anything illegal, are we?" And then Sam asks him, "Would it make you feel better if we said no?" And Cliff's like, "No," which is not a great driver. The driver should say, "Yeah." I mean, it's fine.
The driver should shut his mouth.
The driver should shut his pie hole. When a driver picks the music, shotgun shuts his pie hole. Anyways.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying this type of driver should shut his mouth. But all right, so back on set, everybody once again is still surprised that they are, talking, and especially surprised that they are on set first. Because they think they're putting together their magic spell to get back to the real world, but everybody on set thinks they're there to help shoot a scene. Oops. And yeah, they're working on actor stuff. So we get
Dean tells the director, and he's so just bad. Look, he's like, can we have some time to do some actor stuff? And he's like, no. And they're cut to them in their chairs. And Misha's just like, ooh, priority. What's in your box? And Sam says something that I think if we were ever in this conversation, you wouldn't even bat an eyelash.
Yeah.
Sam says,
you're correct.
I bought part of a dead person.
Yeah.
I think he would just be like, who?
Yeah, that's accurate. That tracks.
Or is this,
100%.
and then you probably, or go, is this legal? And then go, I don't want to know.
Don't wanna
Unlike
know.
Cliff, you would say the right answer, I don't want to know.
Correct.
Correct answer,
Yes.
yes.
Yes, that is what you say. So, yeah. So now we've got to do lines. And this
No,
is,
we're not doing lines. We're acting.
well, sure. We're acting. We've got to do a scene.
That was a joke. That's
Whoa. Ah, damn it. I missed it.
Sorry.
All right. We're not doing lines. Damn it. We're acting. So we've got this.
Well, if they're acting, they're probably also doing lines. Ah!
So it's Sam, Dean, and Misha are trying to run this scene. That's how I'm delineating in my head. That's all I could do it. Are doing this scene, and we realize that Sam and Dean, not Jensen and Jared, Sam and Dean are terrible actors. Like, it's bad, but it is fucking hilarious how they pull this off. It is so good.
And doing like all the things like you would assume that first, young amateur actors would make. Dean looks at his mark. Sam can't figure out what to do with his hands. Can't remember his lines. Sam can't stop looking at like the camera. And so Dean's like, look anywhere else. And so he just looks at
the ceiling. It's so hilarious. And it's bad. It's bad. So we get the crew talking about like, well, we have all of the lines. They're trying to figure out if they can make any of it work. They're like trying to figure out if they can like piece it together and make it look experimental. And of course, our Sam and Dean are talking off to the side about talking shit about the script. But
yeah, and we get another like whatever season 6. Yeah, and Misha is once again tweeting.
Yeah, he is a fan of the tweet on his BlackBerry about them being hungover because that's what he assumed.
IMO J&J had a late one last night.
Mm-hmm. So we get them trying to go do the spell now. They're trying to go piece this together.
But while
this is happening, we've got the director on the phone with Sarah asking, and they're asking what terror alert level they're at, and the level is orange. And it's like, look, we thought it was good that that Jensen and Jared were talking, but now they're like living together and smuggling illegal stuff from Mexico. Misha tweeted about it being a black market organ thing, and we've got other guys. They're just
living their best lives.
They think it's drugs, and they've lost any
organs.
Talent that
it
they
could
ever
be
had.
Also black market organs. So they're talking, they're partying, they're living together. We love it. The network does not love it.
Correct.
Sarah's on the phone, but all the time this is happening in the background, Sam and Dean are trying to work their spell.
They are, and then they smash through the window.
Season 6,
and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So back in the trailer, because they like hanging out there, they're like, look, is it even possible to get back? They're up all night. The world didn't have an apocalypse. It doesn't seem to be any monsters, ghosts, or demons. Those are all pretend here. So there's no hunters and nothing to hunt. So there's no magic in this alternate universe.
Then not only is there no magic, there is no supernatural.
Yeah.
How meta is that? There's no supernatural. There's no show, but there is a show. And I'm just sitting here like holding a bottle of wine.
So what does this mean? Will a spell work if there's no magic there? Oh. And then if there's no spell, no magic, no supernatural, is there no heaven, no hell, and no God, and therefore no angels?
So, okay, and the way this gets written out, I'm pretty sure this is the song of it, right? There's no supernatural, no demons, no hell, no heaven, no God, but also no angels, right? Like somewhere in there, like, I don't know, write a song with that.
I feel like there was a song with that already.
I'm sure there is. It's probably like Guns N' Roses and whatever. So, so we cut to what I first I thought was a motel room, but I'm assuming it is a motel after later that it
It's a
is
motel room set.
is a set motel room because it
Yes.
looks like one of the supernatural motel rooms.
Yes. And it has a sigil on the window, just like the sigil that we saw at Bobby's window. And it glows. And then Virgil is there. Oh, no.
And then if you think about it, so we now have another broken window. And remember what they said earlier about how
95
long it
minutes to
takes
reset
to
that
set
shit.
this?
It's a long time.
It's a lot of windows that they're doing this to.
Pain in the ass.
It's kind of mean.
Yeah. So we see a green screen and two guys, stuntmen practicing fighting in front of a version of Baby. Like Dean has a little comment as he walks by, though. It makes me very happy that, sorry not to knock on Canada too much, but he's like, he just wants to get out of Canada. If he hears one more conversation about hockey, he's going to puke.
Fair. I mean, fair.
Which is also funny right now because I've actually like not watched a ton of hockey, but playoffs are on right now and the Dallas Stars are in the playoffs. And there's a couple really good fights. And like, if it's on, if like hockey's on, I'm walking by and a fight breaks out, I'm going to stop and watch.
I've been.
I feel like I should like hockey more.
I enjoy live hockey. I don't think this team is there anymore, but like there used to be a team that we had down there that had like dollar beer and dog nights, just like they used to have a baseball thing. So yeah. And so then they would just give you like little cups of beer, but then you could take like 25 of those and make like a cup. And then also because hockey's not a big thing, then you could just buy like the cheap tickets and then go like down to like the ringside because you just walk down. But also like, I've seen like, I've been to Rangers. Like I don't like sports ball. Everyone knows this. I've been to Rangers games, but I like live sports. It's different.
Go to a live sporting event. I'm also just totally drunk, different.
So I'm just like, I just want to go, drink and watch people get in fights.
There's like, it's a different thing. But anyways, I was like, oh yeah, because we've been watching a little bit of Stars games, but it's kind of funny. So our brothers get turned around on set and run into Virgil. Oh no. And he puts his hand on Dean's head, but nothing happens because there's no fucking magic.
He has smite dysfunction.
Yeah. Smite dysfunction.
SD, he needs a little green pill. I don't know why. I assume like for like a smiting that it's green, but some pharmaceutical company will make him a green. I think I saw green screen. Anyways, all right. That's so, funny. But they're just like, oh, cool. Like you don't have any powers. This will be great.
Mm-hmm. There's a mojo free zone, but then they get into a fist fight, and and Virgil's pretty strong.
He can fight, man. Like, it's like, oh yeah, like you don't have any powers, but you're also like an mixed martial artist or something.
Yeah. Apparently you should be on UFC. You're on the wrong show. Set. Anyways, but
he's just like, oh
yeah. And our stunt coordinator, we cut away, and in the background, our stunt coordinator is bragging about how all the fights that he puts together on the show.
No, he's bragging about them to a blonde girl. So he's just like, hey, babe,
to a blonde chick.
Do you like? Look at all these fights that are going, and she's like, yeah, it's so exciting.
What about that fight right there?
Yeah, you do that one. That one yours?
Mm-mm. Nope. And so they all go running to break up the fight. And as they're getting pulled apart, Virgil pulled the key out of Sam's pocket.
I do like that, as much as we know this is like, again, like you said, looks like a roller, like either like a roller skate rink key or like at like a Shutterbond key. Like that's also possible. Like at least they made it, at least it was very obvious when it got stolen. You're like, oh, there goes that orange thing.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got director back on the phone with Sarah. And they're like, look, Jared and Jensen were just seen beating an extra to death.
Hey, thinks that not all the way to death. That's a positive. Not a positive. I think he's still
alive. But basically they're like, are they on an extended acid trip? I think Sarah might need to come down, but they're not sure that the brothers, that Jared and Jensen will know who she is because she's new. So they need Kripke to come himself.
And then she's just like, how is that going to make me look? Like, I'm a new boss bitch in charge and I had to fly like this dude in. And if you've been listening to us for the past 6 seasons of this or watched anything, this is all actually happening in real life. Not exactly Not exactly. Kripke at this point was not in a cabin writing his next pilot for Octo Cobra. I believe he was probably working on The Boys. I think that's when this was. I don't know. I don't remember what exactly he was working with, but I just love
But
the
not
fact
Octocobra.
that this was the name they came up for what he was working with was Octo Cobra.
Octocobra. So they're just debating. Sam and Dean are debating if
Also,
Virgil's also.
Yeah, also that Bob Singer, who we later learned as Bob Singer, says, "Mother of God, they'll buy anything."
So they're debating if Virgil's stuck too. Because if they're stuck with no magic, then maybe he's stuck there as well, which is, I guess, good and bad.
Yeah.
And we see Misha leaving the set, tweeting about, how that feeling is, that weird feeling when someone's in your back seat.
Well, he also condescends to our little production assistant or whatever this guy is who had the car earlier, who I feel like he's just in a lot of these scenes for no reason. But he was just like, "Good night, little fella." And I'm like, "Oh, Misha, that's rude. Don't say that to the people."
Well, and his
because that means what happens.
Getting in a Prius.
Yeah. Then the next thing that happens makes it like, okay. So you were kind of like a shit to the production guy. Then you got into a Prius.
Yeah. And then you said a weird tweet about feeling like there's somebody in the back seat. And then Virgil's got a knife to your throat.
Frowny face.
Frowny face. But Virgil is in your back seat and he's got a knife to your throat now. Okay. Okay then. So Sam and Dean are searching the set for Virgil, but the director is waiting for them and corners them because he thinks that this is all a big play to get a raise.
Yeah, it's just like, is this the kind of act that goes away if I give you more money? Like, I love that. Just like, can I just pay this problem away?
Yeah, if I just give you money, will you stop being weird? I don't know. And he's like, "Look, I'm not just your director or your executive producer, but you should think of me as Uncle Bob Singer."
And that's what I realize.
And then they call him a douchebag for naming a character after himself on the show.
Yeah, what kind of douchebag names a character after himself? Oh, Uncle Bob. And then Bob just gives them a talking to.
Yeah. I mean, you can't come to work on poppers and smuggle kidneys in from Mexico and make up your own lines.
Aww. Pretty sure my union contract says I can. So
that was hilarious.
But then Lane Dean's just like, "No, sir, we are not actors. We are hunters.
We are brothers.
And brothers.
We are the Winchesters.
And that matters in the world we come from. And maybe this world is fans. What does that all mean? We must run. We must find Virgil." So we cut from that to a crying Misha and Virgil, who now not only does he have a nice knife to his throat, now he has to listen to a monologue.
Yeah. And then it's about how do you live in a world where there's nothing but dirt when you die, no power, no magic. But Virgil's going to make a Blood Bowl phone call. So he's got to cut Misha's throat.
So he does that to call to Raphael while a homeless dude watches creepily.
Mm-hmm.
And now we know why this was like brought up in the recap when we had that flashback to Meg doing the throat thing where she's like,
yeah.
So now this is saying that also works on the heaven side.
Yeah, that's questionable, right? I mean, that seems like they wouldn't want to do that. I don't know.
Like a dark way to make a phone call. He's like, "Oh, this is what I'm reduced to." I'm like, basically going to be like a filthy demon, but I don't get it. Mm-hmm.
The little Blood Bowl phone though comes through apparently,
and like the cover, like it's the carry, like they've gotten up to that 5G. If you just gotten that last vaccine, you could have gotten this Blood Bowl coverage. So we got Sam. Yeah, so he calls up homeless dude watches, and we got like Sam and Dean walking into Jared's house.
Correct. And Jen is there crying and tells them that Misha's been stabbed to death. And their first response is where? And she's like, what the fuck? Why is that your response?
And so I get like also they're asking like where, like as in location, but like goes like is that where like
on his body?
Oh, so we now
go to
cut
the
to a
crime
Canadian crime scene tape. We can tell you're
The
Canadian.
Canadian crime scene tape. It has maple leaves on it.
It sure does.
What the fuck?
That's how crimes are in Canada.
Canada? I mean, they definitely made that just for this show, right?
What? Okay, so the homeless guy is telling a cop about the Ninja Turtle Raphael. And the
crying man, he killed the scary man killed the attractive crying man.
The poor attractive crying man has now died. But there was a voice that told Virgil to go back where he crossed over with the key.
Yes. And so, Dean throws the guys some money. And they're like, well, shit, he got the key. Then Castiel's going to be dead and our world's going to be toast. So we've got to go stop him. So now they have a plan.
But how much trouble could an angel with no wings be?
Yeah, he's got no power. So we see Virgil at the pawn shop with a nice pistol and asks for the 12-gauge tactical shotgun. Tells the pawn shop owner or shop worker that he is the weapons keeper of heaven.
Well, also, like, the pawn shop owner or whatever, he was like, you really know your ordnance. He just asked for a 12-gauge pump-action shotgun. He didn't ask for anything, like, spectacular. It was, like, the most basic and obvious of guns. Like, you sure know your ordnance.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I mean, it is, I would say it is Canada, but Canada shoots. I know a lot of rednecks from there.
Well, so Virgil butt checks this guy, and then there's a bell
rings
is that what you call it now?
He's just butt checking.
I don't know. What else?
I don't know. I was just putting him in the head with a shotgun. I know there was a cool term for it. He butt checks.
I thought that was a word.
I don't know.
You hit someone with the butt of your gun. You hit someone with the butt of the gun.
I'm down with it. I just didn't know that was a term.
I think it is. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy.
It's not. Like, it is now.
It is now. And shoots another customer coming into the store. So we know Virgil ain't scared.
No, it was not. It was not. It was a lot. Like, oh, shit.
Virgil's. He is not a nice angel.
No, he's a dick.
So back on set, Sam and Dean are waiting, and they're just like, look, I mean, what are we going to do if we're stuck, if we can't get the key and get passage back? And they're like, well, Sam at least wouldn't be bad off, is what Dean starts telling him. He's like, look, you've got, this house, you've got, this wife, it seems like you're famous, like, it seems like things are pretty fucking good. And Sam's like, yeah, no, I mean, this is not home.
Well, he's also just like, oh, like, our friends are back there. I'm like, what fucking friends?
Well, Bobby.
You have Bobby and you have Cass. That's like fucking it.
That's
like, I know this world, you got a smoking hot wife who likes otters and alpaca and millions of dollars.
And money.
Well, not anymore because you just bought all these relics, so you're probably broken out. But you've got an alpaca.
Yeah. But Sam's also is like, look, but we don't mean the same thing here.
But you have an alpaca.
You can buy an alpaca.
Not in his other world, apparently. In this world, he gets an alpaca. I don't know where the fuck you're leaving. Anyways.
Yeah. So either way, so they at least at this point kind of weighed the pros and cons of both worlds, but they both want to go back to their world.
Well, and I think the big thing is Sam's just like, we're not even brothers here. And so there is a huge family thing. It's all about family. So we cut outside.
The thing Dean forgot in the previous episode, right? Oh, yeah. Sorry.
No. Shade.
Uh-huh. All right. So outside, we've got our director and the I don't know, the props kid hanging around.
Props kid PA. I don't know. I'm just assuming he's a PA, but
PA. We have the director and the PA, and who has arrived?
He pulls up this SUV.
And they're like, "Oh, she's so awful about Misha, but it got us the front page in Variety.
Yeah,
But
it's
so
just
tragic."
so very classic Hollywood. Just like, oh, it's so sad about our star that died, but hey, box office ratings. Yeah, we gotcha. And so Eric's is like, cool, got this. Busting their guns blazing.
Yeah. So, but while they're talking, Virgil starts walking up. And they're like, "Oh shit, that's the extra that they tried to beat up." And Eric's like, "Cool, I got this." Virgil starts blasting. That's just what happens. Pulls the shotgun and shoots
many times.
Eric 3 times.
While Old West music is playing, right?
Yeah,
so this is very
West
absurd.
Trumpet.
This is not a
It's
serious
so
dying scene. This is very much absurd violence. So
for sure. 3 shotgun blasts though. That's brutal. And then he pulls his pistol and shoots the director.
He shoots Bobby Singer or Bob Singer. So we've got Kripke down, Bob Singer down, and then he just like starts shooting up the set.
Yeah, and just everyone, like the one of the assistants was saying, like, "Oh, I don't no gunfire on the call sheet today," and then he gets shot in the back while everybody else is getting shot, and Sam is able to distract Virgil while Dean tackles him and just starts punching him a lot. So we have another 3-way fight with Sam, Dean, and Virgil. Sam does manage to get the fucking key back. Thank goodness. That's important. Right when then the sigil starts glowing and they're like, "Oh no, Raphael, this is not good." But they go through the window anyways and end up in a parking lot.
No, and freeze frame. So we had the reference back to the beginning there where they were just like, who the fuck would do a freeze frame? And then here we get a freeze frame.
Freeze frame. Through the window.
Yeah.
Yes. So a woman is walking up to them in the parking lot in a nice suit. Says, "You two have the strangest luck."
He's a nice suit. She's in a boring fucking thread suit that they all goddamn wear. She looks like a G-man, T-man, whatever. Yeah. But also she's there, and then here comes
nicely tailored.
It is nicely tailored. It is well done. I do appreciate a woman in a good menswear suit.
It's hard to do.
It was hard to do. It was well, but you know she's fed, so easier. So here, then in comes Flaps. Balthazar just flaps it.
Balti's there. And and he's like, "And that will open your locker at the Albany bus station."
The weapons are all gone. This is all a distraction. Look over there.
Yeah. The boys were a decoy. They were so well hidden that the weapons needed time to be found, and they were the distraction for Virgil. Raphael is fucking pissed, and who shows up? Castiel.
He flaps in.
Flapping in.
I got all those weapons now. Woo!
Yeah. And he's like, "Raphael, you need to get the fuck away from Balthazar. I've got all the weapons, so I got all the power."
I got the power.
I got the power. And then we get a really cool silhouette with lightning of wings, big wings.
It's like a dick throw, but it's with the wings. It's like, check out my big dick wings.
Not dick wings, though.
Not dick wings, no.
That'd be weird. And then Raphael flaps away. Raphael gone. Flap.
What the hell, Cass?
Yeah. Yeah. This is now we got Balthazar telling Castiel, like, "Look, you've got your sword. Try not to die by it." And Castiel touches the shoulders of Sam and Dean.
It's a nice shoulder boop. We're not doing a forehead boop. We're doing a nice shoulder boop.
And we're back at Bobby Singer's.
I'll play when I can.
And Castiel was in on it all along. He knew Balthazar's plan. He would have done the same thing, because if I lose against Raphael, we all lose. And Dean is very frustrated. And Dean is so frustrated by this. And I'm annoyed that Dean is frustrated by this.
Because his boyfriend's not telling him everything. His boyfriend's not being honest, and he should be honest in a mature relationship.
But if he knew, then they would have known, and it wouldn't have worked.
It wouldn't have worked. But you're not that important, Dean Winchester. Heaven's more important than you.
So
Anyways, so
Sam starts tapping the wall to make sure it's real and not a set, which is funny.
I do get that.
But they like that they're back at their moldy, termitey home sweet home.
Yep.
Chock full of crap that'll want to skin you. And they're broke again.
But at least they're talking.
And that was a hilarious ending line. Because that was the joke all along.
So, what just happened? Oh my god, what was this episode? And in order to do this, I'm going to throw Diana into a quiz corner.
Quiz corner.
Okay. I don't know what the fuck I'm calling
it's like
this.
A quiz couch?
Casting couch. It's the casting couch. Were they on that show that time with that guy? La 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 la.
Let me quiz couch because we're taking her casting couch. I wouldn't let her look at casting couch because I didn't want her to know what was real and what was an illusion. All right, so you ready? What the fuck just happened? All right, number one. Was that the real Bobby Singer? That's the question. Was that the real Robert Singer?
No.
It was not. That was Brian Doyle Murray. You may know him from such films as Groundhog Day, Caddyshack, Caddyshack 2, 16 Candles, National Lampoon's Vacation, Wayne's World, SpongeBob, Scrooge, Cabin Boy, and he played Jack Ruby in the Oliver Stone JFK.
Oh.
What?
Interesting.
All right, second.
I know a lot of fun Jack Ruby facts. Go ahead.
I know. I thought we could add that to your Jack Ruby. Like, I feel like that's going to be a new thing for you. I don't know why that's weird. Okay, anyways. All right, so it's a work thing, guys. It's not just a weird, it's a thing. Okay, whatever. All right, number two. Was that the real Eric Kripke?
I'm going to say yes.
No, that was Micah Hauptman. He was Parker he was in Parker with Jason Statham and Jennifer Lopez. He also appeared in the series Homeland and was a lead in the rom-com in Stereo. All right. Was that the real stunt coordinator?
Yes.
Yes, it was. That was Lee Bolo, and we talked about the show. He passed away in 2022. I know how time works. But yes, we've talked about him before. But then to follow up, were those are real stunt actors, stunt actors?
No.
Yes, they were real. They were Mark Carpenter and Todd Scott, who actually are, or Todd. I had Todd Scoot, so maybe Todd Scoot. I don't know if I typed wrong. I hope your name is Todd Scoot, but Todd Scott's probably, I don't know. Whatever, they were the real stunt doubles. All right. Was that Sarah Gamble on the phone?
I mean, it might as well have been, but I doubt they would use her.
No, it was not. It was the voice of the actress Hilary Jardine, who is a Canadian actress who made her TV debut on Psych.
Okay.
All right, so she was a recurring character in CBS's Zoo, Sci-Fi's Van Helsing, and ABC's Somewhere in Between. She was in Army of One with Nicolas Cage, and in 2020 was in the horror movie Welcome to the Circle. And oh my god, I do have to read this IMDb synopsis. All right, ready? A random bear attack during a family camping trip leaves Greg, father, and Samantha, daughter, trapped by demon-worshipping cult known as the Circle. Unbeknownst to all is that there's an infiltrator in the cult's ranks. She is communication. This is not my words, they're just theirs. She is communication with a former member on the outside named Grady. Grady's plan is to lead a small group of rescuers into the heart of the Circle. But will they get there in time to save Greg, Samantha, and others from the demon known as Percy Stevens?
Huh. That was not a well-written synopsis, and I don't know what the fuck's happening.
But I also want to watch it immediately, because I have to know what happened. All right, some other notable crew members in this episode. The director of photography, Sergei Landers, I'm butchering your last name, Landesur, was played by Art Kitching. Kevin Parks, the first assistant director on the Odd Number episodes, also known as Parksopedia because he has extreme knowledge of supernatural, was played by Jason Bryden. The producer, Jim Michaels, was played by Garwin Sanford, who also played Deacon in season 2's Folsom Prison. And the driver, aka Cliff Klosterman, who the real Cliff Klosterman played Tiny in Folsom Prison, right? So
Oh, yeah.
you were Tiny, we love Tiny. He became a
Yes.
driver and personal bodyguard to Jared
Yeah.
and Jensen. But in the show, in here, was played by the actor Philip Maurice Hayes. All right.
Aw.
And so we're going to round up with some general fast trivia on this episode just because there's so many Easter eggs and things that were getting thrown around. All right, this is like number 6, number 1, whatever. All right. When Dean holds up the Supernatural magazine and says, "Look at these male modeling sons of bitches. Nice blue steel, Sam." Is that a real magazine?
Yes.
It is. It was a copy of Supernatural, the official magazine, issue number 11 from August 2009. That was published by Titan Magazines and was first released on November 27th, 2007. It ceased production in 2012, but did have a final souvenir 148-page issue in 2013. All right. The clip of Jensen Ackles in Days of Our Lives. Was that real?
Yes.
Duh, of course that was. All right, true, false. Misha really tweeted, "Hola, Misha amigos. J2 got me good. Really starting to feel like one of the guys."
I'm going to go with yeah.
Yeah, he totally did. He tweeted that when this aired. He also tweeted, "IMHO J&J had a late one last night, rolling on the floor, laughing my ass off." And then tweeted, "My phone was stolen and apparently cast into a parallel universe devoid of magic. I've retrieved it. I promise it won't happen again." All right, number 2, Jared and Jensen don't talk to each other. True or false?
False.
False. At least at this time it was. They were at each other's weddings. All right. True or false? Jared Padalecki owns an alpaca.
I'm going to bet that he does.
Okay, it was false as of this taping.
Okay.
I do know that he has or has had dogs, mini horses, miniature horses, which means they're close to me. Jared slide into my DMs. I know that I need to see the horses, man. All right, bees, bunnies, and chickens.
Okay.
So
'cause I knew they had animals,
they have
so
a
I'm
ton
like,
of
well, it might as well
animals.
be a fucking alpaca.
Right. I'm not sure. Like, so there was also this thing because alpaca became a celebrity animal. Like when you said like they're the greenest of animals, and it's something to do with like how their feet are and they like don't leave a footprint. I don't fuck you, but like I don't know. I love alpacas. And then if you watch Going for the Gold, you can hear their mating call. It's close to it. All right. True or false? Jared Padalecki is married to Ruby.
I mean, true.
False. He is married to the actress, and she has a name. Her name is Genevieve.
Her name is Genevieve.
She's not Ruby. Her name is Genevieve, but you can call me
Yes.
Jen. Cortez. I think it's Cortez. But she generally goes under Padalecki now. All right. True or false?
Correct.
Jen is on the board for an international otter adoption charity.
Let me go with false.
I think that's false, although I'm sure she does not mind otters.
I don't think you can adopt otters.
There is that place in Japan that has like the otter hotel that we can just go hang out in the hot tub with otters. So
That's true.
I mean, if you get enough money, you can adopt what the fuck you want. Adopt
Accurate.
with quotes. I do know her latest project is Town, Take Only What You Need, which is a community connecting experts and everyday people to live more consciously and sustainably. I went way too far into the lives of Jen and Jared trying to figure out what was real and what wasn't. Feel a little stalkery. All right, so the last question. All right, this episode has become so meta that is in other TV universes. Is this true or false?
I'm going to go with true.
Of course it's true. All right, so this is according to supernaturalwiki.com, as many of these facts are, and also to my own eyes after I watched it. The Impala was in the episode of Legends of Tomorrow, Zari, not Zari, from March 24th, 2020. And in it, they're holding a notice about the filming of Supernatural. And it basically has like a plot where they're like running through Vancouver and they come across the Supernatural crew filming an episode with the Impala. So because it's a Supernatural crew filming an episode, and that's the universe that puts it in. So and occasionally you'll hear like whenever it goes like super meta that this is French Mistake, right? But
yeah,
this is the universe where the TV show is a TV show.
Nice.
So this is the French Mistake. Yes.
That's what we live in.
We live in the French Mistake. I guess. God damn it, is this worse than time travel?
But that means there's no magic.
Well, I mean, there's apparently some magic. So, that was our quiz. We're done.
Yay!
So, we can talk about what are your feelings? How'd you feel?
That was a super fun episode. I don't know if it did a ton to really what's funny about it. What's funny, like looking back at it now, it's like if you look at like the overarch of the season, like what did this do for the plot of the season?
I think
literally all it did, in my opinion, was we got Raphael, and Raphael's pissed because Cass got the weapons.
I think it brings the attention back to the angel fight in heaven, right? Because I feel like that's been such a subplot, right? Like that's something that's kind of been in the background. Like we're like, where the fuck is Cass? And we're like, Cass is fighting an angel war. I'm just like, what? And they're like, why don't we see an angel war? Like now this kind of brings that into the forefront, right? Because everything else seems to be kind of like, I mean, we just got through what, like, oh my god, I don't have a soul. Like one thing that really didn't get brought up, which I'm surprised, was not only are things like, are they rich in this world? There's no wall in Sam's head.
Oh.
So if they'd stayed there, like they probably would have been fine.
That's interesting because they didn't even mention that, but there's no magic, so
I think it's weird they don't talk about it because that's one of the things I would bring up because Jensen. So Dean has been so obsessed with it, right? Like that was like those last episodes.
Don't scratch the wall. Stop trying to remember.
Stop trying to don't scratch the itch. Don't scratch the itch. And like that's not even brought up in this episode. So I do have a problem with that because I think that should have been something that they were like, oh,
yeah, it should have been mentioned or at least addressed at some point.
Yeah. But other than that, I mean, they went like full. I guess. When they pitched this, and so they like brought this to the actual actors, Jensen and Jared, because they said it's very rare for them at this point of filming to have been so early in the production process, right? To be brought into like a script, and I guess one of the stipulations that Padalecki said was that he didn't want to be playing himself, which sounds dirty. But you know what I mean.
Play with himself.
You want to play with himself.
Right. He still wanted to be a character.
Right. So he's not Sam playing Jared. You know what I mean? Like, so he's always
he's Sam playing Sam, who's identified as Jared.
Well, he never switched into Jared. And like, but even like with Misha's character, like it was a very spoiler alert. That's not how Misha Collins is in real life, as far as I know. I mean, we've only seen him at cons. I've never had a direct conversation with Misha Collins. He could be like this for all we know.
Yeah.
But I don't think so.
You never know.
But yeah.
You never know.
So, but I thought it was really for fun. How meta this got?
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, like, you're like, oh, okay, they've kind of done like some, like they're, they had like their little Hollywood stint, we've got a couple episodes where they've been on sets, right? So when they first fall on set, you're like, oh, okay, we're doing this. Interesting. Okay. But how meta it is hilarious. And I love that they tied in. I like that they brought in Genevieve, like things they didn't have to do, right? There's choices that were made. And I thought it was really clever. Really fun.
Yeah. It's really is, like you said, it's super fun, but it's a classic episode. I always enjoy when we get to watch these. Just because it's like, hey, we're poking, and I'm trying not to burp, guys. So I'm not being over emotional.
Well, they're poking fun at themselves. No, they're poking fun at themselves. They're having fun
I'm
with
sorry,
it.
Okay, that got loose, and I feel better now.
They're owning their own story, and I think it's hilarious.
Well, and really, at this point, we know that the SPN, the tweets that Misha was sending out were getting retweeted by fans, and maybe this was also like, hey, reminder, like we're here still, and like for all you know, we could be canceled next year. It's season 6. Like this could be the last season you ever see us. Oh no, but that spoiler. There's more.
Yeah, there is.
There is more to come.
Quite a bit more. Quite a bit more.
Okay, so anything else beyond
No.
you just enjoyed it? I'm just glad it was a good episode. After
was.
we've been in Bummerland, so the signs back up.
Bummersville has been for real, man.
Zero. We have zero episodes since last Bummer. We got. Cheers, Jerk.
Cheers, bitch.
Devil's Trap Podcast is a Don't Get It production. Meow.
Devil's Trap Podcast is part of the Ship It Studios podcast network. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Devil's Trap Podcast, Twitter at Devil's Trap Pod, or you can email us at devilstrap@devilstrappodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave reviews, and share with all your friends. We're at all your favorite podcast outlets and at devilstrappodcast.com. I'm Babe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.